All right. Hey, welcome to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us here. Welcome. We are at the end of another week, but we're also at the end of a month. All right. We're at the end of March 2024. And man, I tell you, it's at the beginning. I can't speak for everybody, but I can certainly speak for myself. I know that there's something in the air, or like the preachers, like they would say, there's something in the atmosphere. There's something in the atmosphere. And that reminds me, I would have played this TikTok. I would have played this TikTok video I sent to my wife last night. I said it to her. All I heard, it was late, and she was in there hollering. So I knew she got it. Let me see if I can pull it up for you right quick. Okay, hold on for a second. I don't know who this guy is. He popped up. TikTok. It's a shame they trying to get rid of this thing, but I tell you, TikTok can be messy, but I tell you, there's a lot on there that I could honestly say that I've found out about, I've learned a little bit here and there, and but you also got some funny people on there too. So how many of y'all out there are familiar with Marvin Winans? I mean, you would consider yourself a Winans expert. Like you know all the Winans, like their singing styles and all of that. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is, as soon as I can find where this link is, hold on, I'm gonna send you. Hold on. Come on, Link. Where are you? All right, hold on. Let me see. I'll just text it to myself here and just do it that way. Okay, hold on. Let me see. All right, here we go. Oh, you know what? I could pull it up this way. All right. Let's see. Where's my text thing in Bajig? Okay, here we go. All right, let me go to the text I sent to her, which was when? It was TikTok. Let's see, that was yesterday. I think this is it. Hopefully this is it. Okay, let's try this one and see. All right, hold on. Let me see if this is it here. I'm gonna play this one for y'all and see if this is it. All right, hold on. Nope, of course not. Let me see. Hold on. Let me do something else here. Well, anyway, while I'm running my mouth here, what I'll do is I'll do something different here. I'm gonna just download it because yeah, because I ain't going through all that trying to figure out what's what or whatever. But I hope you guys are having a great week, having a week, and you're planning on having a great weekend. And yeah, we got a lot we're gonna be talking about in this broadcast here. We're gonna be, like always, we're gonna be challenging folks. We're gonna be challenging you. So if you come up in here and you somewhat sensitive, this ain't gonna be it, okay? All right. It don't be flooding by our comment section later on in the day, with all with your circular argument kind of stuff, okay? Because nobody ain't got time for that. But if you want to have a discussion, I am way open for that, okay? I got time today. All right. So, but yeah, we can do that. But anyway, here's this video that I came across. I sent this to Nicole yesterday. I want y'all to check it out. Listen to this, okay? If you are familiar with the Winans, I want you to listen to check this one out. I thought this was hilarious. Here we go.
Said I went to Target. Said I went to Target. I'm on a budget. So I went to Target. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? Sir, I went to Target. Oh, said I went to Target. Said I'm on a budget. So I went to Target, Target, Target. Oh, I'm on a budget. Hey, are you on a budget? I was on a budget. So I went, to Target. Oh.
That is Garvin Winans, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he calls himself. That is Garvin Winans, and I want you to make sure you look out for his album, because when you find it, let me know. Okay. Man, he had them down. He had them down, man. And then he also did one of Benny Hinn. You should hear hear him do Benny Hinn. I mean, he sounds just like him. Anyway, as for those of you coming in, welcome. I hope you guys are having a great one. And yeah. There's some funny stuff out there, and it's a shame, that they trying to shut down, TikTok. Like I said, TikTok, man, I be swiping like a mug, man. When you get to those TikTok pages where it's like all the squares and people be arguing and talking over one another and all that stuff. Ain't nobody got time for that. But then they'll have some stuff on there that's really good, that I really like checking out. So anyway, so glad that you're here. What we're going to be talking about today, we're going to get into this. It has all the signs of a psyop. Once now we're at the weekend, hopefully what I'm encouraging people to do, I want you to step back and we're going to take a breather. Because when we step back and we're going to take a look at what has transpired in the last week and a half, what I believe is that we just witnessed a pretty interesting psyop. And I don't throw psyop and agent. I'm not one of those that just throw those things around just to be throwing those things around. But it's very interesting because I always look at what's the end goal? What's the end goal of all of this? What's the end goal? Anytime I see this stuff, I'm always asking that, what is the end goal, right? And so this thing is no different, what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to get into this whole thing, as this week, everybody was, you had one group And this is mainly with the white folks. They were like King Jesus, and I'll explain that a little bit if you're not familiar with this whole thing about this whole King Jesus thing that took place and why did it take place and all of that, right? We'll talk about that. And then, of course, many of you know by now the whole the black Russian Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. The black Russian Jesus. We're going to talk about that, but we've already talked about that, but now we're going to look at it from a different angle. Okay. We're going to talk about it because I think the two things that I just mentioned are related, and I don't think it's that much of a stretch when you see what the end goal is. If you did take the time, I had a little bit of time today, if you look at that thumbnail, because you got the King Jesus on one side, then on the other side, you got, black Russian Jesus. And then in the middle, you got Thanos. And he says at the end of it says something to the fact, at the end of the day, what did it bring you to? Back to me. So it all has an end goal, right? It all has an end goal, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into, continue a little bit more of the conversation that we had earlier today on our podcast, talking about this whole red heifer thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, the red heifer thing, I'm telling you right now, that's not something to take lightly, okay? Now, again, I'm not one. Let me just tell you right now. Let me just tell you right this second. I have zero interest, okay? Zero interest in copying what these other folks are doing. I don't care about them. I don't care about their feast. I don't care about any of those stuff. I don't, okay? I don't care about any of that. But what is important is, since these people that we're talking about apparently are in control of quite a bit, it is very important for us to pay close attention, just from just being prepared, just for that, just out of preparation of what to expect next in the world. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't be taking things, like a lot of times people will do whole videos on, oh, did you see all the bugs? They swarm this area. That's judgment, or they'll say, this whole place, it flooded out. That's judgment. I don't be doing that. I don't do that at all, because, you got to follow through on that, and you better make sure you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be throwing stuff around. Then you got the whole group of people who be up here on YouTube saying, God told me this. That Biden, he's gonna trip tomorrow. I sense in my spirit that Biden is gonna trip. Okay, and water's wet. Okay, then what else? Tell us something different. And so I ain't one of these people that be just making things up and telling you God said it and all this. I don't do that. Okay, but in this particular case here, sorry, I just ate something. In this particular case here, when we're talking about this whole red heifer thing, we're going to talk about why it's important for you to know about it. And our dear sister, Green Eggs and Lamb, she provided a link that added some more info to this story that you definitely need to know. Okay. So I don't know what that one. And then, okay, so you got that. And then let's see, I have something or other here. Hold on, let me see. I got two things that it's another video, and then I have there's something happening in the AI sector that you definitely need to know. I told you got to be careful with this technology. We're going to talk about that as well. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you got a little bit of time today, because we're going to just sit back and just go through some of this stuff here that, I think is important. And, we definitely need to, keep our eyes and ears sharp. Okay. Especially during this time. Okay. But anyway, good to see everybody in the chat, and let me see where we're going to get started. Oh, let me tell you something really quick here. Soma Tree, SomaTree.com. In case you don't know, we do have a store here. The store itself is we created this store because, again, we just got tired of seeing our people getting sick and dying. And we wanted to do something about it. We could talk about it. We could sit up here and say, honey, we'll pray for you. And we'll do that. And we continue to do that. But we wanted to do something more. We wanted to offer something to people. We wanted to do our part, in helping our people in getting our bodies well. Because what we understand is this. See, you got a lot of people out here, and I was just hinting on this. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? And East Coast, I see you. You got a lot of people out here that will use the Bible as a way of scaring the hell out of you and in you, but they don't offer any kind of tangible solutions. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? See, I could sit up here all day. You got people out here that have been on repeat telling you got to flee out of America. You got to leave Babylon. You got to get out of here. You got to get out of here, out of Babylon. You got to go. Where we going to go? I don't know. You just got to go. You got to go. Well, I got a place in Africa. You need to come over. Come on over to Africa. You need to come over here. Everything going to be all right over here. Well, what are you doing over there? Well, I don't know. We'll just talk about it. We'll figure it out. What? So you literally have people, I'm telling you, from what I get, the feedback that I hear from people at different times. There's times I warn people, stop listening to them folks. Stop doing that. You need to leave them alone. Check their character. We've told people this stuff, right? And what happens? They still follow through with it, lose all kind of money, all kind of time, and it's too late. You should have listened. And so you got people right now that are going all over the place and are giving into the fear of what's going on out here. But they're not giving anything. See, anybody can get up here. Any fool and nut can tell you about, oh, did you see the news the other day? Whoa, you know what I'm saying? But okay, what do I do with that? How do I prepare myself for that? How do I prepare my family to deal with that? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we're about here. So our number one thing, like I said, again, it's about fixing your mind, getting your mind right. Okay. Getting your mind right. I had someone the other day, they were saying, someone left a comment. They were like, I hear you, but listen, at the end of the day, I serve one God and that's it. And he going to take care of everything. And I call that Katrina theology. You may want to write that down because I'm going to do a video on that. Katrina theology. And what that means basically is y'all don't even worry about it because he going to take care of everything. Meanwhile, you standing on top of your roof and you got all this water up here. Well, I guess we need the president. He need to come in because y'all keep praying for us. Keep praying. You underwater and talking about still pray for us. Meanwhile, you had all of this time to prepare and to do something, to have something in place so that when those times come, you straight. All you got to do is pivot and keep it moving. Do you understand what I'm saying? So anyway, with all of that, what I'm saying is this, is that, and what we've been saying is the number one thing right now you should be focusing on is number one, protecting your peace. Protecting your peace. Okay, let me say that again. Protect your peace. This is the time right now that you need to cut all the weirdos, all the dummies, all the stupid people out of your life. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It's time for you to cut all these fools out of here. People who don't stand by their stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, you out here scaring black folks all over the place, but then as soon as you turn the camera off, or as soon as you get offline or whatever, you go home to your turkey dinner or whatever it is that you eat. Meanwhile, folks up here, they biting their nails, making plans, buying plane tickets. I already told you it was something going around not too long ago. People they telling folks to move to port cities throughout the United States because God is going to send some cruise ships to pick you up. I'm not lying to y'all. This is a real thing that was happening. And folks getting up there and they're making plans. Yeah, we need to go and we need to move to these cities because I had a dream that he's going to send some lifeboats and going to pick you up. And you got people falling for this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Even when I turn this thing off, I still be, I don't say worried, but I'm very concerned. Always stay concerned about our people. I stay concerned because I don't like when people feel like they can say whatever the heck they want, throw out to our people and say whatever the heck they want and get you all scared up and riled up. And then there's no accountability, right? But when they have to stand before the other man and do business, oh, they're going to make sure everything is right. They're going to make sure everything is ordered. They're not going to talk to the other man like they talk to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? The other man, he wants the receipts. He wants the facts. He wants you to bring the receipts when you talking to him. Do you understand what I'm saying? But for us, it should be no less. Do you understand what I'm saying? So anyway, all that being said, I know I went off a little bit, but all I'm saying is this, is that number one, cut all the fools and the idiots and the clowns out of your life. That needs to happen yesterday. That's number one. Protect your peace, right? Number two, you need to focus in on taking care of your health. Okay. Your health right now, whatever it is, whatever that entails, you need to take the lead in that. No more depending on the people with the white coats solely. Okay. If you got the people in the white coats that are helping you right now, okay, but they don't control everything. You never put them 100% in the driver's seat. That is not what's supposed to happen. Okay. I'm not telling you, I want you to understand what I'm saying clearly. I'm not telling you to take all your medicine and flush it down the toilet and whatever. I'm not telling you that. What I'm simply saying is you need to take the lead in your health care. If that doctor is talking to you like you a dog, or like he talking down on you and you feel like you go in there and you gotta like, well, sir, you need to break up out of there. You paying him or her. You understand what I'm saying? You don't deserve that kind of treatment. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you go in that office and they ain't looking right at you, you say, sit your head up. I'm paying for this moment. Sit. What? You, what? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Now let's sit down here. Let's talk about, let's get down to here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't be letting these doctors talk all circles around you and then they just throw some pills in your face and telling you got to just take them and then come back or whatever. Where did these come from? You know anything about? Well, listen, you don't question me, okay? And doctors be talking to folks like that. You know what I mean? They be talking to our people like that. Don't tolerate that. You tell them, no, I'm not comfortable. Unless you got a full explanation for this stuff here, I ain't taking it, period. And I think I'm going to be all right. And don't let them scare you either and telling you, well, you don't take this stuff. You might not be here for the next time. The devil is a lie. You tell them that. You understand what I'm saying? No. You take lead in your care, your own health care. And that is very critical for this time. You understand what I'm saying? Especially your mind. Your mind is very important because you're going to need a sound mind during this time that we're entering in. Okay. This time we are literally going to a new chapter. And that's what I talked about in the podcast. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in this broadcast here. So that's why I hope you stick around and hear everything I'm saying. Okay. So you're going to need your mind has to be a paradise of peace. You understand what I'm saying? You may not be able to afford to go on vacation right now, but your brain should be the Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and everything else. That's what your brain should be right now. Anything less, then that means you got some mess going on that don't need to be in your life right now. Okay. So when we started Soma Tree, that's how we started Soma Tree. We wanted to take part in what others have been doing as far as like providing a resource for people, when it comes to herbal and natural care and all of that stuff. Right. So that's in that spirit. That's why we established somatree.com. So this is the website here. Again, it's somatree.com. And we have all kinds of things here. And we talk about a lot of this stuff and at great length. And I don't know about y'all, but I still been using my copper thing every day. I sit it out right before I go to bed. Sometimes I be halfway in the bed. I'm like, dog, I didn't fill up my thing. And I fill it up, put it on top of the refrigerator. I wake up when I get up in the morning. First thing I do, I go right outside in the backyard. I sit down in my chair and I drink my water. Yes, I do. Still doing that. And so yep, I still been doing that. So yeah, really doing. Oh, I'm doing an experiment right now with what is it, electroculture, I'm doing an experiment right now. It's sitting on my table right now, and I'll let you know how it goes, okay? Because if this thing goes well, that's gonna be really something. If it does what they said it's supposed to do, I'll let you know, okay? Yeah, we always doing that. Don't forget, we got the herbal assistant. We got the herbal assistant on this page here. Okay, you can put it in here if you have any questions for us outside of where my order, that kind of thing. But if you have any herbal questions, you can type it right here on the page and it will give you an answer. Okay, and the resource base I'm using is Dr. Sebi, and I think I'm using something else as well. So pretty much we're tapping into that resource. So any questions you have, you go right here to the herbal assistant right here on somatree.com. Okay. So we got a lot of other things that you can see. And we're also real big about skincare. We're tired of being ashy. I don't know about you. I'm tired of being ashy. Well, number one, you need to drink more water if you perpetually ashy. But number two, it's also the stuff you put on your skin, and so we're about 100%, as close to 100% as possible. We can be very fussy with the people at the lab that we help instruct and tell them what to put in and what not to put in there. We let them know, you know what I mean? With some of the stuff that we have control over that. And other things we have to constantly, okay, we'll find a product and we're like, oh man, this thing is going to be the bomb. This thing going to blow up. But when we'll find out later on, oh man. So it's a lot of hunting and pecking for the right things that we feel like, man, this will be awesome. So as you can see, as I'm kind of scrolling through right now, we're very serious even about when it comes to seasoning, food seasonings. Yeah, that's right. We're going to come up with our own. So we came up with our own, such as 50-50 pepper. It was 50% black seed, the other 50% black pepper. You ain't going to find that anywhere else. And if you do, they copying off of us. Okay. For real. But anyway, then we got all kinds of teas, as you can see. We got fenugreek powder for hair care. So for those of you who are looking for herbal solutions for hair care, we got that. Man, look at this. We even got something for laundry detergent. That's right. We developed our own laundry detergent. We call it the Miss Sylvia's Natural Laundry Detergent. Okay, 100% natural. And we also, and Miss Sylvia ain't done yet. She just got to take her time. She got to take her time. She getting up there in age. And so there's some other things she working on, but we checked on her and she said, honey, listen, I can only do what I can do. And I said, okay. So she got something else she cooking up. We'll let you know. Okay. And of course you got this sour sop drink that's still going strong. Man, we got all what hold on. Organic eyelash and brow growth. We got that too. I didn't know that. We got that. So I can go through this site all day. There's a whole lot of stuff on here that I would highly recommend. When you get the time, go ahead and check it out. The website is somatree.com. I'm saying all this too to let you know that this weekend, my wife said to say it's the best thing you never heard. It's this thing here is going. So make sure you watch your emails. This is a supplement that we just came across. It's for the whole body. And you definitely want to have this in your stash. Okay. That's all I'll say on that. But keep an eye and a watch on your emails because this thing right here that we're about to drop is going to drop this weekend. It's something else. It's something else. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears out on that. Okay. All right. So there you go, family. Again, the website is somatree.com. All right. So let's go ahead. Oh, and then let me make sure you're aware too. We also got our podcast. We got our 3 podcasts going right now. We got Digital Plantation Podcast. We also have Tech Tribes. All right. We have Tech Tribes. Tech Tribes is a podcast that we have where we focus on the historicity of Africa and all the places where our people are been located, even in ancient times. And we don't believe in prehistoric because all of history is history, period. Anytime you hear someone say prehistoric, what they're referring to is pre-European history. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what and so anything that they put in the prehistoric category is always us looking all hunched over, looking like a bunch of gorillas and apes. The devil is alive. That's not what we were like. We were highly skilled in the area of technology and mathematics and sciences. And that is what the podcast is focused on. It's only the episode's only 3 to 5 minutes long. You'll find the links on our community page. Please subscribe to it because you'll definitely learn a thing or two on that podcast. So we got the Digital Plantation one, we got the Tech Tribes one, and then we have the I'm getting ready to say the Book of L. Not the Book of L, it's the Book of Eli. That was it. Not the Book of Eli. Who in the L? Who in the L left the gate open? That's what. No, who in the L are you following podcasts? So you want to check that one out too. We got another installment coming in tomorrow on that one. Okay. So that series, definitely want to check that out. So we got 3 podcasts in cooking all just for you. Okay. All you got to do is step in the kitchen, grab you a seat, grab you a plate, sit down and enjoy. All right. So just wanted to let you know that all the links are on our community page. All right. And then we have the research group as well. I've been telling you about that. So if you want to really learn how to research and, because a lot of people say they research, but a lot of times when you start getting down to it, how did you research? Well, I saw a few memes or I just skimmed through an article. It's got to be more than that. So we show you how you have to take this very important and serious and how to do it. And we also provide you the tools on how to do it. Okay. So just go to the front of our YouTube page and you'll see it. There's a join button there. So click on that and then please follow the instructions from there because there's some further instructions you need to follow so that you can get full advantage of it because we also have a huge library that you get access to, research notes, all kinds of stuff you get access to. But make sure you follow all the instructions. Okay. So that's it. I think that's all I have for a long intro there. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. What we're talking about in this particular broadcast today. As you know, we were talking about in the podcast earlier today, we were talking about this whole thing about the red heifer thing, right? The red heifer and what that means and all of that stuff. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. Now, this week, there was, let me see if I can pull up this tweet here. Let me see. That's not it. There's a tweet that I had here. I got things all over the doggone place. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Okay. All right. So this will give you a little bit of background of what I'm talking about. All right. So when Candace Owens, by now, many of you know that Candace Owens, some people say, some people say she was fired. Other people say she quit. So you never know until whatever, right? So let's just say basically she don't work for them anymore. All right. And that's for Daily Wire. And so what happened basically is she was starting to notice some things when it comes to a certain group of people that you ain't supposed to say anything about. Okay. And so she started questioning things, especially since the October 7th, thing with Israel, supposedly invading Gaza, but come to find out it's been slowly coming out that actually who's doing most of the shooting there was actually Israel on their own people. But, they don't really want to dive there. They don't want to go into that. But that's what's been coming out. And so but what's been an ongoing story is that, people are starting to notice how these people in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian people, are being treated. I mean, you bombing up hospitals and talking about it was a military base. It's like, okay, but they wheeling out a bunch of babies out of there, dead babies. Okay, that's a military base. Oh, but they had tunnels under there, and it's like, nah, man, y'all just brutal. And then there's videos that I would not even show on this platform. You got people just walking down the street. Next thing you know, just a missile you see just come and just blow them up. It's just all kinds of stuff going on like that, and there's all kinds of different angles. Like, for example, nobody's really talking about. I've heard some people talk about it, but now the Palestinian people, well, it's twofold. The Palestinian people, you have Muslims, but you also have Christians. They have a significant Christian population. Now, here's what's really, really interesting about this. The Christian population, they've been getting attacked big time too. You know what I mean? And so those bombs, they don't say, oh, let me steer over here down this street because there's some Muslims down there and we're going to hit them and we're going to leave the Christians alone. Nah, they going after everybody. And so you got Christians that are getting hurt and killed and murdered and all that, right? And what's crazy is that you got Christians here in the West that are like, kill them all. That's right. That's God's land. And the Christians there are like, man, what the heck is going on? Well, I thought we were all one family, right? Now, and then on the Muslim side, well, you got neighboring there, you got Egypt. And people are like, well, why can't the Palestinian people just run to Egypt? But the Egyptians saying, man, y'all cross up in here, we're going to blow you up. You know what I'm saying? But that's part of that is tied to a history. There's some history there too that, between the Palestinians and the Egyptians, but there's no like, we are all Christians and we are all Muslims and all that. No, they're isolating these people for a certain reason. Now I can really get into the Arab families and all of that and why they kind of playing ball with Israel. If you start digging into their families, you'll find out, I'll just say it, you'll find out that they have Jewish roots too. All right. That's another thing people don't really talk about too much, but it's true. They're all playing on the same team. People don't realize that, but they are. Okay. But we'll get into that another time. But anyway, long story short, I don't know how I got off on that. But anyway, so Candace Owens, she was like a lot of people, they were noticing this brutality that's happening in the Gaza Strip. So she would start calling this stuff out, but she was being fair. She was saying, well, the Hamas shouldn't be doing this either. And, I think she was just saying that just to kind of, I guess be even or whatever, because Hamas really is, I mean, if you're going to be honest about it, Israel set up Hamas. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, so she's calling this stuff out. Well, Ben Shapiro, the little guy, and he's like, yeah, that little short guy, with the, and he, of course he didn't like that, and so I just knew at that moment when she started being critical of Israel, I said, I could hear the clock going. I said, it ain't gonna be too long now. It won't be long. She'll be going home. She did. And so anyway, so she, kept asking, kept pressing. And then there was some other rabbis that came in and was saying some shady stuff. They've been saying some shady stuff by her for a minute because she wasn't really playing ball when it came to Israel. And Ben Shapiro, threw her under the bus and all that publicly and all that. So it was a slow build, right? And so there was a certain point where she said her reaction was, listen, at the end of the day, I ain't beholden to any of y'all. At the end of the day, Christ is king. Christ is king, right? And so with that being said, let me get to this tweet here. And it kind of tells you a little bit because something else just kind of came out. It was a few employees came out and they were discussing what they're saying, what was happening behind the scenes. So I'll read a little bit of it. It says, 4 Daily Wire employees, all Christians, have reproached me. Their identities will remain anonymous for, okay, we got it, and leaked information about the impromptu town hall that Jeremy Boring, he's the CEO of Daily Wire, hosted on the day of Candace's firing. Boring sent a email to all Daily Wire employees inviting them to an impromptu town hall meeting in Candace Owens' studio. The town hall, dang, it's kind of bold. But anyway, the town hall was led by Boring, with Andrew Clavin repeating many of the corporate talking points on his show the next day. The 4 employees told me that the town hall attempted to brainwash the employees to present into believing that Candace was in fact an anti-Semite. They view it as an extreme form of damage control to scare and to prevent employees from speaking out against Owens' firing later that day. The feeling was that she didn't just I'm sorry, the feeling was that they didn't just want her gone. They wanted everyone to hate her like Ben does. It was straight up propaganda. These subjects were brought up during the town hall. And it says, number one, it was like Candace's repeated use of Christ the King was deemed anti-Semitic, dating back to November when there was a meeting with Ben Shapiro. When a meeting with Ben Shapiro was leaked, in the meeting, he badmouthed Owens for not being overtly pro-Israel. And then there's another guy. He's like a ultra conservative dude. His name is Nick Fuentes. There was a clip of him chanting "Christ is King" was played. The expression made Shapiro particularly angry, and since Fuentes is deemed as an anti-Semite by the ADL, it was used to suggest that Owens was an anti-Semite by association. And so there was some other stuff here too, but I'm just trying to keep it to the point here. But since then, I mean, this whole Christ is King chant, if you will, on social media, it's been coming up a whole lot among conservative circles, within conservative circles, who feel like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, Christ is King. I don't know about you. And it's the whole, what it's really tied to is the like replacement ideology of within Christianity. They believe that the church or Christians everywhere, they represent the spiritual Israel. Okay. And so, in other words, Israel may still exist, quote unquote, but at the end of the day, in the eyes of God, they believe that the church replaced Israel. Okay. This is what they teach. Okay. And so you have a lot of Christians, evangelicals, who believe that. They have been on this thing where, I mean, T-shirts and hats and everything else, Christ is King, Christ is King, Christ is King. And so that's been like the big rallying call right now, right? And so here is where, if you're a Christian, I want you to listen, all right? Because this whole conversation is going to apply to you as well as Hebrews, and we'll get into that in a moment. But here's the thing. What's so funny is, yes, someone like a Candace Owens and other people who are using they're saying it in response to they're saying it in response to Jews who want Christians to be pro-Israel. All right. Because they're saying, listen, we're not Zionists. We're, at the end of the day, we serve Jesus. We serve Jesus. Right. We don't serve Israel. We serve Jesus. Right. And that's why they're saying what they're saying. But here's the trickery with it. And this is what you have to understand. It doesn't even matter, because it was a back and forth. I was getting in one individual with this, because they were really getting tripped up on the fact that they said, well, why is it that many Jews, they hate Jesus? By virtue of the fact that they hate Jesus, it must mean that Jesus is the one. He's the real one. He's the real one. You know what I mean? And so, so there you go. And even in their Talmud, they talk about how Jesus is boiling in excrement and all this other stuff. So Jews, generally speaking, religious Jews, they generally do not have a like for Jesus. Generally speaking, you do have some Messianic Jews out there that don't think that way, but generally speaking, they're not too fond of Jesus. What I shared with someone was is that what you have to understand when you are looking into Jews and their culture, these people throughout history, they always play both sides of every issue. Okay. And this is where I say you need to really pay attention to this, because a lot of times people, they lose it after this. They tune out, but you really need to pay attention to this, because see, at the end of the day, who's Jesus? Well, what nationality, quote unquote, Jesus is supposed to be? Jewish, right? He's supposed to be, according to the story, he's Jewish. Now, let me ask you something. At the end of the day, do you think that Jews, I'm talking about the Jewish people, do you think that they are going to be upset and angry if everything that's stated in the Bible, that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord, Do you think they're really going to be angry at that if that were to happen, if that does happen, that Jesus, the King of the Jews, and you have everybody in the world bowing down and worshiping this individual? Do you really think they're going to be that angry and set up in the corner somewhere? How are they doing this? How dare they worship it? No, it ain't. No, y'all. At the end of the day, they win with that narrative. Okay? I'm going to give you a moment to really mull on that. Okay? Because for many who are either in the church world or in Christianity or maybe come out of it, you have adopted this mindset that somehow that they are that hell bent against the idea that there's going to be this one King of the Jews that's going to rise above everybody and everybody's going to bow. And you think that Jewish people are going to be so angry, they just going to go somewhere and off themselves because they just can't stand Jesus that much. No, that's actually what they want. You understand? That's really what they want at the end of the day. Remember, they play both sides. Okay. And so you got that side, right? So what's happening is you have Christians who believe that they are standing up to the false claims of anti-Semitism or standing up against Zionism, but in reality, you're embracing Zionism. I hope I'm not losing anybody on this, because if you are declaring Christ is king, you are also embracing Zionism. You following me? You're still embracing it. The Bible itself is based on Zionism. The whole narrative is all this stuff is supposed to come to a heightened conclusion in Jerusalem. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to build a new Jerusalem and all that stuff, right? That's Zionism. So when you listen to pro-Zionist Jews, Jerusalem is also the centerpiece. So they don't care. Hey, you looking for Jesus? Okay, fine. It don't matter. We win at the end, and y'all still but in their minds, we're gonna be bowing to them. You understand what I'm saying? See, I have to take this a little slow for some people, because some people, they just tune out too soon. But this is true. This is what they think, and this is what they teach, and this is what's been taught to us in believing and thinking that somehow they're going to be so mad and angry of the fact that, if a Jesus were to show up or something and he becomes the king of everything, that somehow they're going to be big losers in this. No, they're not. He's the King of the Jews. And this is ultimately what they want. They want a world bowing down to them. Their Talmud talks about it all the time. All the time. Okay? So it's kind of like your response is still bringing you back to them. You think you're kind of thumbing the nose at them, but in reality, you're actually still embracing what they ultimately want, and that is Zionism. Okay? So this whole Christ the King thing, it's kind of, when you sit back and look at it, it's like, that's, y'all still they're still getting what they want at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys will follow me on that. I mean, you may have to rewind and listen to that again, what I just said. Okay? I ain't trying to be deep. I'm just kind of trying to spell it out for you so you understand what's really going on here. So you got that group. Okay? And also, not to mention too, there's a lot of pushback to the fact that, and I mentioned like TikTok and some of these other platforms where, Israel is really trying to shut down, because on the internet, they're really losing the whole argument when it comes to Zionism, because a lot of people don't right now. A lot of people don't like Israel online, not really. And so that's why they had to pass this latest bill so that they can try to shut this stuff down. But, that's not going to really change people unless you do it by force, So you had that happened, what was it, in the last couple of weeks, this whole Christ the King thing that came up, right? But then right after that, or right in the middle of that, you had the whole black Russian Messiah, black Russian Jesus thing, black Russian Jesus gate. That came up. This thing just literally came up out of like seemingly nowhere. And it was very interesting to watch, because This isn't the first time it came up. For years, there has been videos that have popped up on social media alleging that these darkened images that are coming out of Russia, the Russian iconographies, that they were in fact painting black people. For years, that has been coming up, especially amongst either like Hebrews or other black folks who have been, pushing this whole narrative. It's come up, so it's not new, right? But when it came up this time, this thing came with such a force. It was almost like, it just came out of nowhere. It was a true southpaw for many people. And it was, what's interesting to me when I'm sitting back and watching this is how so many people saw it as like it was brand new. I was like, this claim has been around for a long time. Now, what was new in this whole thing was the claim that Putin allegedly went down to the cellars of the Kremlin and opened up one of the doors. And when he opened it up, he found all these black pictures of Jesus hanging up on the wall somewhere. And then he now said, okay, bring the cameras in. Doggone it, we're going to tell everybody who the real Jesus is. This is what was being alleged. But as you've seen in the videos we did this week, that did not happen. He did not go into any vault. And again, I challenge people, you can go back as far as you want in Google News, Yahoo News, any news source you can go to and do a search for Putin going into a vault. It will not come up because he did not do it. There was no vault. You know what Putin was doing this week? Getting ready for war. He ain't thinking about y'all. Okay, that's what really was going on. That story never happened. Someone lied, and we talked about that, right? But the amount of people, I'm talking about tens and hundreds of thousands of people who were tweeting this and retweeting it and reposting it and restating it over and over again. You see what happened. See, this is a fulfillment of prophecy. This prophecy is being fulfilled. It says in the last days, the truth is going to come out, and then Prophet Cat Williams even said, it's like they pulling in everybody and saying this is a fulfillment of prophecy. But in reality, no, it was a lie. And we also this week spent a great deal of time going in. So we dealt with the Putin stuff. Then we also dealt with, again, talking about the validity of this claim that all of these paintings were, in fact, were they supposed to be a black people or was it something else? And so we went through all of that many, many times. I'm not going to go through it again. But what I'm pointing out is what was really interesting with all of that was that some of the main people who on the regular make it very clear and make it very clear to you never to trust white people, never to trust Christians, never to trust Christianity. And they regularly tie in and rope in all of Christianity into Rome and Babylon. It's all Babylonian. Everything is Babylonian when it comes to the Christians. They'll regularly tell you, do not observe any of their holidays, their Easter, their Christmas, and all these other, holidays. You're not to observe that. Those are pagan days. These same Negroes would tell you that day in and day out. How many of y'all remember that scene in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, when the main character, Keenan Ivory Wayans, he was looking for some backup. He was looking for some help. And he went into this one room. He said, okay, y'all need to go check out this dude. You need to go check out this dude. He's like a black revolutionary. You need to go check him out because, man, he was a warrior back in the day, right? So he goes in. I wish I could show you the clip, but, they probably ding me on that. So he goes in. And the guy, he's got his dashiki on, he's got his beret on, he's got his black glove on and everything. And he's got all his stuff on. He's got everything on the wall, right? Spear in the back, got African stuff all on there and all that stuff. And he's like, see, I'm tired of this stuff. I'm tired of what this man is doing. And the guy's like, yes, he's like getting all mad. He's like, yeah, let's do it, And so the guy's getting all pumped up and he's thinking, okay, I'm in the right place. And then lo and behold, he said, well, do you want something to eat? That is, his wife comes out and she's white as I don't know what. And then she got her 2 white children. So it was like you're living a dual life. you're on one hand telling people fight the power, but all these white people got to do is simply say, okay, well, you don't like white Jesus. Well, we'll give you a black Jesus. Not that that even happened here, but that's pretty much what happened. And all of these people literally did a 180 and was like, oh my God, did you see what happened? Revelation has come about. It has happened. He is showing us. He's showing us the way, y'all. He is showing us the way. Jesus is black. And he had to go to Russia to do it. Oh, praise to the Most High. That's all it took. I'm sitting up here scratching my head like, well, dang, you literally did a 180 that quick. That's all it took. I mean, and some of these folks have said some very harsh things when it comes to who Jesus is and all that stuff, but that didn't even matter. All they had to do was say Jesus is black, and you had Negroes by the boatloads doing a 180, and all of a sudden now Jesus is coming back, y'all. Man, you won't believe what I found out. You won't believe it. Jesus is black, y'all. That's all it took. So I'm sitting back and looking at these two movements that I just told you about, the Christ is King and then the Black Russian Jesus thing. And at the end of the day, what did it do? It's bringing you all back into the army of Jesus at the end of the day. It is. It's bringing you all back to the King of the Jews. That's what this all was. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, this thing got to be some kind of psyop for people to flip like this. You know, the last time I've seen people flip that quick, it was for the vaccine. It's like people that I would say, nah, you ain't falling for this. And they were falling for it and getting mad because I ain't falling for it. That's the last time I seen something like that. So are we living in a time where, yeah, you're going to seeing people flipping like that? Yeah, apparently so. I'm just like, how can you just switch that quick? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not, like I said, again, we don't need to get into the tech. I've already gone through the paintings and all that stuff. I already just check the videos. I already done that. But it just really was very shocking, but not so much that people would change just that quick. And this is what I say, as far as, like I said, at the end of the day, if you're out here and you claim to be a Hebrew, you can call yourself a Hebrew all you want. Okay. If you want to call yourself a Hebrew, that's you, do you. But you can't put your mouth on Christians. I want you to hear me on this. You invalidate yourself and everything that you claim to believe in when you start putting your mouth on Christians and the church. You want to know why? Because you're using the same manual that they're using. You understand what I'm saying? You're using their same Bible. They use the Bible. You use their Bible. Well, let's follow the logic. And I've said this many times before. You got the KKK and you got skinheads. KKK and the skinheads, they're two different organizations, but they share common beliefs. But when we look at the KKK or skinheads, as far as we're concerned, you can't tell the difference between the two because they both have shared beliefs. And as far as we're concerned, they both can go jump in a lake somewhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, it's the same way between Hebrews and Christians, Seventh-day Adventists. It doesn't matter. You can differentiate yourself with little things that you don't agree with and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, what ties y'all all together is Jesus. What ties you all together is the Bible. If you take the Bible and Jesus out of the equation, y'all confused. You confuse even more. You don't have a manual. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you can say, well, I don't believe, they made me believe this, but I don't believe. You still believe their same manual. This is why I say the difference between religion and culture. When religion and culture, when you start bridging these things together, you're bringing a whole lot of confusion. You are. The first thing you need to know is your culture. Now, religion, cultures have their spirituality. I would say, there's a difference between a spirituality and religion. You know what I mean? Because spirituality to me is something that you just live and breathe every day. You know what I'm saying? It's a knowing of just your surroundings and seeing the relationship between nature, you, the creator, and all that. I would say that's a spirituality. I'll just leave it at that. I know it's very vague, but you get my point. But when you get into religion, I'm talking about organized religion, especially be it Islam or Christianity or whatever it may be, and you blend that with culture, that's very dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. And religion requires a set of rules and regulations and things like that. And for Christianity, for Islam, for Judaism or whatever, you have your books. And these books were, in fact, written not by your black behind. You know what I'm saying? They were not written by you. You want to know how many times I've gone back and forth with people and they're like, no, it didn't. We wrote it. Okay, really? We wrote it. We wrote the Bible. And then I start going through history and start showing them the different people, all the different people like Saint Jerome and some of these other people who took part in writing these, what we call the Bible today. Oh man, I have a video. We have a video. We have another channel. It's called Long Form History, and it's for people who have longer attention spans. That's the only way I can describe it. I just uploaded a video this week talking about what Easter is all about. Okay. And I know there's a ton of videos out there that will talk about this, that, or what. Not Easter. Sorry. Take that back. The book of Esther. Sorry. The book of Esther and what the book of Esther is about. The book of Esther is an allegory. It's not a true story. All right. Don't believe me? Watch the video. Okay. Because today, also in this broadcast that we're looking at right now, that you're watching right now, that's why I said we're going to try to cover it. I'm going to try to fit in a lot in this broadcast. In this broadcast, what we're also going to talk about very briefly, since we're in Resurrection Weekend, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through all the other resurrections that took place before the resurrection that is mentioned in the Bible. Okay. I'm going to show you most of the ones that I could find. There's more out there, but I'm just going to pull just a few. All right. I told you it's going to be challenging for some of y'all. And you're going to have to think with a clear mind as when we get into that, when we start talking about that. Okay. But anyway, just to button up this first topic here, this first segment here again, definitely between this Christ the King and then this whole Russian Black Jesus thing, that was definitely some kind of psyop. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that coming about. There's going to be a lot more things like that. That's why we're encouraging people that whatever it is that come across your timeline or whatever, you better make sure you're asking questions. And like I said, particularly with this whole AI stuff that's out here, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you the plan. I'm literally laying out for you and telling you how this is going down. They have, what they're doing right now. You have a lot of channels that are popping up on social media right now that they are AI channels. You never see the people. They got the robotic voice. And sometimes you could listen to some of these videos and it's like that same voice all over the place. It's like, wait a minute, this dude is very popular. Well, it ain't no dude, it's a robot. Or it's software. And so anyway, so what they'll do is they'll use that voice or pick any kind of voice. I probably should show y'all some of this stuff. And basically it will, I don't know, it'll start reading off whatever script that you feed it. And there you go. Let me give you an example, because I was kind of stuttering there because I was like, I wonder, should I show him just how easy this stuff is? Okay, now I'm going to show, all right, we're going to do a demonstration here. This was not planned, y'all. This was not planned. Let me see if I can find this thing here, because I'm going to do a live demonstration here. Now, only reason why I'm not going to show you the page, the only reason is because of the fact that what I know I got some Hebrews out here that if they saw this page, I mean, you can find out anyway if you're gonna look for it. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna be copying it, and it's just, I'm telling you based on my own experience, and it's just like with the AI photo stuff. It's like, man, next thing you know, you got, Moses with a big old good times afro, and he walking over the Red Sea, but he's walking backwards. It's like that kind of, it's like, y'all stop using this stuff, man. It ain't, so that's why it's like some things I just don't even want to show. You just take the long route and you find it out yourself. Because I hate seeing people taking stuff and it's like, man, why y'all using it like that? Anyway, but anyway, what I'm gonna do is I have the page up right now. We are going to construct a song. Okay, we're going to construct a song right now, and and I'm not lying. Okay, I'm not lying at all. All right. Oh heck, I'll just show it. I don't care. That's it right there. Okay, so these are some pieces I made. Okay, this is the page right here. On the top right here, on top left, this is a song description. I'm going to be typing in there. Okay. All right, so we're going to construct a song right now. I'm going to show you just how easy this thing is. All right, so give me a moment. Let me turn these lights on here because it's starting to get darker in here. Hold on just a moment, okay? All right, we're going to have a little fun here, and then we'll get into our other topics, okay? I told you we're going to, hope you got a little time here, okay? All right, hold on. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Let me think for a second. What can our song be about? Oh, okay. Let's have some fun here. Okay, I think okay. Now, this is truth. I'm doing this right now live as we're speaking. Okay. So right now it's asking me to come up with a song description. All right. And I'm going to type in something right now. Okay. So let's see. Our song is going to be about, I'm going to say, stop falling for these Russian icons. All right. Okay. No, I'm going to say stop falling for these Russian paintings or something like that. All right. I'll do that. To stop. Okay. I said folks need to stop falling for these Russian paintings. Okay. And now I'm gonna say, let's see, we want I'm gonna say soulful 90s R&B. Let's say groovy. R&B, not Rob. All right, let's see. I want to say groovy. Okay. All right. So this is what I got typed in. All right. So let's see what's going to happen here. I got in there. It's going to come up with lyrics and it's going to come up with the music. Okay. I don't know what this is going to sound like, but what I put in this thing, I said, folks need to stop falling for these Russian paintings. And I said, do it in a soulful 90s R&B and make it groovy. Okay. That's what I said. All right. So now I'm clicking on create. Let's see what it's going to give us. Let's see what it's going to give us. It's turning right now. All right. Let's see. It's almost done. This thing moves quick, man. So there's two songs. They already gave me a title. It's called A Stroke of Russian Soul. I got the volume up. Hold on. All right, I'll turn it. Hold on. I'll put it up on the screen here. Hold on. All right, so it's still working here. It's almost finished. So y'all seeing this in real time. I'm just showing, I'm doing this as like an object lesson.
In the gallery, she caught my eye. A Russian painting that made me sigh. Beneath the colors, emotions burn, but it's just a trap we gotta learn. She's a seductive work of art. With eyes so deep, she steals my heart. She steals. But behind those strokes, there's a hidden game. Don't let her touch your soul. It's all in vain. Fun fame. Folks don't fall for those Russian tears.
Hey!
Just a mirage of hate fears. Folks, we gotta see through the disguise. See through. Free from those Russian painted lies.
Hey! I guess this is supposed to be the bridge or something. Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. So that's one. All right, here's another one. Oh, it's still playing. Okay, here's the other one.
In a gallery, she caught my eye. A Russian painting that made me sigh. Beneath the colors, emotions burn, but it's just a trap we gotta learn. She's a seductive work of art. With eyes so deep, she steals my heart. She steals. But behind those strokes, there's a hidden game. Don't let her touch your soul, it's all in vain. Folks, don't fall for those Russian tears. Just a mirage of pain and fears. It's a mirage, it's a mirage. Folks, you gotta see through the disguise. See through. Break free from those Russian painted lies. Break free, break free.
Ho, 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 ho. Woo! Woo! Don't fall for those Russian paintings. Yeah. I told you. I've been telling y'all. I did not say. You see how easy it is? See, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. I can come up here right now and say, y'all, whew, man, we been in the studio all day, coach. We were in the we were in studio all day, and man, we cut this record here. I can tell y'all that, and you believe it. That's how easy this stuff is, man. It's crazy. Yeah. And I can have a whole right now, if I wanted to, I could sit down. It's really, I can pretty much, if I wanted to do my own album, if I wanted to do an album of all these songs, I could do it. Yeah, it's like what, $8-10 or whatever, and you get like 500 songs. So they're flooding the zone with all of this AI stuff right now. Because again, if you're in, like, there's people in Hollywood right now, they're getting on TikTok crying and stuff because, you know, I thought that the protest, the strike was going to do something. I was looking at the strike the whole time. I'm like, y'all, this is the end. It's the end. Y'all, you done. I'm sorry. You're done. You done. You don't even need, if I went to do, even people doing voiceovers, your day is numbered too. Now people who are into voiceovers, what's going to happen down the road is you're going to just record. They have your voice already recorded, and then you just license them to use it for whatever they want to use it for. You understand what I'm saying? So let's say they recorded my voice, And they probably have already done that because they've already said, some AI companies said they've already been sampling off of YouTube and all these other places. And what they'll do is, let's say we want to create a unique voice, so that maybe they'll take, I'm just using myself as an example, take my voice, combine it with another male voice, and then they've created a whole new voice that they can say, we have it copyrighted. This is our voice. So this thing is wiping everything out. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, it doesn't mean that. Now, keep in mind, like I've been telling our children, I said, listen, the name of the game is you got to stay ahead of it. Learn the technology, because the technology is always going to need somebody to steer it. So you got to play the game as long as you can, but don't just sit back and like, oh, I ain't gonna have no job. No, you can still have one. You just got to think ahead, And so anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that. I've been meaning to show y'all that, just how easy this stuff is and how easy it is to deceive people, with this technology that's out here. It's very easy. And you got people that's doing this all the time. And especially people who are religious, the Christians, the Hebrews, they've been doing this stuff. Buying subscribers and everything. I mean, you think the jig is up. People, it's all coming out now. It's all coming out, and people need to be aware of it. This is why we spend so much time with this stuff. We did one, here's another song I did. Now this is one I wanted to, I don't even know which this one sounds like. Is this it? Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay. This is one that I thought, I was just playing around. I was like, okay, man, I'm gonna start using this, man. Cause I was thinking, man, should we have like a theme song for what we do? And so I didn't take as much time as I should have taken in putting in the descriptions. And so I said, well, what I called the song, I just said, I'm on a journey. That's all I did, right? And I just typed in a few things in there, and that's it. Now, if you have a whole, if you write your own lyrics, you can just put your lyrics in. It will use your lyrics, and then it will just find a singer, and it'll find the song, the music and all of that, and do everything else for you. But here's another one. I'll just share this with you real quick. This is one when I was toying around with, I'm still toying around. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know. But this is one I did of, I was playing around with this one. I'm trying to see, is this it? Oh, it's this one. Okay, here we go.
Taking a moment, I need a resolution. Give me up the matrix, break these chains that bind. I know there's more to life, a love that's hard to find. Yeah, I'm on a journey, searching for the truth. Gonna find my way, won't settle for the proof. I'm on a journey, leaving it all behind. Gonna free my soul and find what's mine. I'm tired of the lies, I'm tired of all the confusion. Been living in a world of illusion, but I won't let it define who I am. I'm breaking free from this heartache, yes I am. Oh yeah. Get me out of this matrix, set me free. On a journey to find the real me. I know there's more to this life I'm living. I'm ready, so it's time to start giving.
All right, hold on. All right, yeah, and we can go on. We can be on that all day. We can be on that literally all day long, y'all. But again, I just wanted to share that with you because, again, like I said, I'm just showing you just how easy it is, but as you can see, putting that in the wrong hands, people will just take that and go all kinds of ways with it. That's very deceptive and extremely dishonest. And this is why, like I said, it's important for you to always ask questions. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that's being presented to you, always ask questions, always investigate. Okay. because as you see just how easy it is right now, you would think, okay, let me meet the the person that's singing it. Oh, she's busy right now. She's on the disc, somewhere, and it's really something. Yeah, Juanea said the voice sounds familiar. I bet it is. It's probably someone you or I probably heard of, and they just sampled their voice and just now it's in the matrix now. They can use it for whatever they want. I pay my $8-10. I can use now that voice is gonna be on my next album. But anyway, what we will do now is I think this will be a good time for me to take a short break here and get myself together as we transition to our next segment here. And when we come back, we're going to continue to talk. We're going to get into this thing about the red heifer. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And trying to get what song I want. Nope. Trying to find me one. All right, I'll do that one. All right, so there you go, family. Well, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, I'll have my stuff ready, and then we'll get to the next topic, okay? All right, let's go. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. And we're going to go ahead and continue the conversation. Yeah, I tell you, and there's a whole lot more where that comes from, y'all, that I can share with y'all and show you just how all the different tools that are out here right now that are being used by people to deceive you. There's a whole lot of them out here. And this is why we're living in a time right now where we gotta look into all this, including I showed you how AI was fueling this whole Russian Black Jesus thing. I was showing you how they were using AI to do that. It's here now. We're here, and we got to be ever so vigilant, in this time. Okay. So, all right. So what I want to touch on briefly, but what I will do is on our long form history channel, I will probably post everything there. Okay. I'm just thinking right now, so that you can see it. But right now I'm just going to read everything to you and then you can verify it on your own. I'm just going to go through it. But what am I talking about? Okay, as you know, we're in Easter or in the Easter weekend, regardless if this is something that you observe or not, that's irrelevant to this conversation. But so Christianity has taught us that there was only one true resurrection, and that was the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and that he came back later on, showed himself to the disciples and all of that, right? And then from there, he ascended up to heaven. that will probably, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to figure out where do I want to share that portion of the story, because I'm gonna make this statement, but the evidence I have to write. I'm gonna take the time, and you know how we do. We try to itemize everything and give you links and everything. So it's going to be easy for some people just to dismiss what I'm about to say, just in hearing what I'm about to say. But that's why a lot of time, what I like to do is have everything written out so you can look and verify everything I'm saying. Now, when you go into church history, okay, when you actually look into church history, you will see that this part of the story of Jesus when after he died on the cross, and then, you know, from the part where after he was buried, and then after the burial, between the burial and the resurrection, him showing himself to his disciples and all of that, that portion was in the original text. When you're going all the way back into the original text, it was never in there. That portion was something that was actually added later, much later in the early, when I say the early church, I'm talking about church Rome, right? They added that part. But when you go back into the original text, there was never any kind of thing in there that talked about his burial, or rather his resurrection, and him showing himself to his disciples. Okay. Like I said, for some of you hearing that, you're just already tuned off. Okay, this brother's off his rocker. But once you lay it all out and I show you and give you everything and show it to you, I mean, you ain't gonna have nothing else to say on that one. Okay. And that's the same thing. So we'll talk about that later. You know, maybe I'll do that with the research group or whatever. And then, you know, maybe I'll put that on long form. I don't know, but we'll put that out later. Or you can look it up on your own. You can look it up on your own. It ain't like I'm sitting on anything. I'm just telling you. Okay. So in this portion right now, you know, what Christianity, like I said, has taught us is that there's only been one death, burial, and resurrection, but that's not true. In fact, there's been quite a few of them at least talked about. Okay. I'm not saying it actually happened. I'm just saying at least talked about. Now, before I continue, because I know this is where I have some people wrinkling up their eyebrows and saying, "Oh, I already had someone in the not in the chat, but in the in our comments, and saying, can someone just tell me what this brother actually believes? Because I'm confused." Instead of just asking me directly, it's like, why you just ask me directly? I'm here. I'm going to show you again as we launch into this conversation what we believe here. Okay. So that you're not confused, because we're not confused here. All right. Let me just show you right here. So if you go to our front page, all you have to do is go to Leaving the Hebrew Matrix. All right. Go to this playlist right here, Leaving the Hebrew Matrix. And when you click on this, this video should actually be the first one listed. Go right here at the very bottom. It says saying goodbye. You need to watch that video. Okay. And that one is a very clear and very detailed video. So in case you're confused, or you like, well, I don't know, you used to talk about this or that. You just seem like you just jumped to something. We ain't jumped nothing. Okay. You see all these videos here? You see all that right there? This is us documenting our entire journey. So everything is here. So maybe you haven't been here for a while, which is okay, but we're not confused here. Okay. And if you want to know, you can start with that video and then you can move right along and you can watch any one of these. It doesn't matter after that. That one and this one here, this is another one, rest stop, detailing our journey so far. Okay. So we're very clear and very, very detailed in those videos. And I would encourage you to watch those videos if you're someone that, you know, you're like, I don't know where you guys are coming from, and I think you guys are misleading us and all this other stuff. No, we just laying everything out. Anyway, so here we go. Okay. All right. So let's very briefly, I'm just going to go through this very briefly and then I'll show you a chart. Okay. But like I said, again, I will have all of this written out for you so you can do your own investigation in this. Okay. All right. So here are some of the resurrection stories that predate, or the resurrection accounts. Again, I'm not saying these actually happened. I'm just simply saying these are other stories that predated the biblical resurrection story. Okay. So the resurrection story in the Bible isn't an original. It is not an original resurrection story. When you look at the resurrection story as it's told in the Bible, there's everything is symbolic. When you look at, let's say, for example, like with Mary, and she was with the women and they're crying over the body of Jesus, and she was the first there at the tomb and all of that is representative of things that happen in some of these older stories. Okay. And, like the whole weeping for Tammuz and all that, we can get into the whole back history of that. Some of y'all, when you hear like weeping for Tammuz, you think about what the Bible says about it, but that actually comes from something much older that's outside of the biblical account. Okay. And so we're not going to get into all of that right now, but just letting you know, a lot of this stuff is representative of something of other more ancient accounts. Okay. So anyway, so I'll just go down the list here. Here's one, Osiris. That's Egyptian mythology. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, was killed and dismembered by his brother Set. His wife Isis reassembled his body and brought him back to life, allowing him to become the ruler of the underworld. Okay. Now, there are certain elements that all of these stories are going to vary a little bit different, but what we're focused on is the concept of death, burial, and resurrection. Okay. That's what we're focused on. Tammuz, that's a Mesopotamian mythology. Tammuz, a god of fertility and agriculture, dies and is resurrected annually, symbolizing the seasonal cycle of growth and decay. Adonis, this is a Greek mythology. Adonis, the god of beauty and desire, dies and is resurrected with his death and rebirth, representing the seasonal cycle of vegetation. Dionysus, this is a Greek mythology. Dionysus, the god of wine, fertility, and theater, experiences death and rebirth in various myths, including being torn apart and reborn from his heart. Attius, that's how you say it, Phrygian, how say that, mythology. Attius is a consort of the great mother goddess Sybil. Dies and is resurrected, symbolizing the return of vegetation in spring. Anana, Ishtar, that's a Babylonian mythology. We talked about that in that video, the true story behind the book of Esther. Anana, or Ishtar, in Akkadian mythology, descends into the underworld, dies, and is resurrected after 3 days, representing the cycle of fertility and the changing seasons. And then you got Mithras, that's a Roman Mithraism. While not a direct resurrection story, they said the god Mithras is associated with rebirth and renewal, and his cult involves symbolic death and rebirth rituals. Everything I just read to you were things that predated the biblical death, burial, and resurrection story. Let's see. That one. Okay, so then I have... Okay, so I mentioned, okay, so now what I'll do is I'm just going to jump to this. I'm going to show you, because I read off a lot. I just went off with a lot of stuff, and I know that's a lot of information I just gave to you. But one more time, I will have this all posted. I'll put that on our community page over on our long form history for those who are interested. Okay, so let me show this on the screen here. And here we go. So what you're going to do is, with this chart, it goes from right to left. I don't know why they did it, but that's why they did it. It goes from right to left because I wanted to generate a chart so that you can see where the resurrection story of Jesus falls in order of with all the other resurrection stories. So the story of Osiris that goes back way back, like 3,000, you know, and then, you know, just follow my mouse here. Then you got the one about the Anana, descendant of the underworld. That's right here. The story about Dionysus. That's right here. This is one in India. Savitri and Satyavan. Okay, that's in India. So the India, they had their own there. And then right after that, here's the resurrection story of Jesus right here. Okay. And then you had these other ones that came afterwards. All right. So someone can say, and I've shown this, I've talked about this with people, and some people, it's like they don't know how to react to this. They don't know how to respond to this. And so what I've heard people say, they talk about is how they said, well, still staying within their biblical construct. They say, well, see, Satan, because at one time he was in heaven, maybe he got the word about how things were going to go down in history. And so what he did was basically beat God to earth. And maybe he did all these stories to confuse us. In other words, it's like you feel like you got to help your narrative in order for this to make sense. And I'm saying, no, that's not what went down. I'm telling you, that's not the case. Okay. That's not the case unless you have some documented evidence and proof to prove what you're saying. That's not the case at all. What I am showing you are things that you can put your hands on. There's documented evidence and proof, not that these events actually happened, but they were recorded as far back as these times that you see on the chart here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what you're looking at right now on this chart. So just take a good look at it. If you want to take a screenshot, you can. But, what I'll do, like I said, again, I'll make it real nice and clean for y'all and just lay everything out, everything. And like I tell the research team and like I tell everybody else, what you want to conclude at the end of the day, that's up to you. I'm not here to bend your arm. I'm not here to condemn you if you still want to believe what you want to believe. But what we're simply doing is going to lay this out. This is the truth. And there's, unfortunately, it's a shame because you got so many people today who simply think that this one story, this resurrection of Jesus story, that was the only story that it just came. There was none other that claimed to have resurrected. And I'm telling you right now, there are many other stories that's not even on this chart. This is just a few of them. There are many, many stories. And even, you can say even during and a little bit after the resurrection of Jesus, the biblical resurrection of Jesus, you will have, what was it? It was a Caesar that had claimed to have resurrected as well. And what they would like to do is, and this was something that was common, like in Rome, if someone wanted to claim like some type of godhood, when they would die, what their followers would do was try to get rid of their body so that, so that if their body was destroyed or, nobody knew where the body was after they died, then they can make the claim, oh, they're one of the gods because we don't know where the body is. They would do that kind of stuff. And this was something that, was very commonplace. Again, once you venture outside of the Bible and you look at the history that was being written around during that time, you'll begin to discover these other stories that were very, very prevalent during those days, So this is the kind of stuff we get into with the research group. And I just share things with them. I have documentaries and things like that that really break this stuff down. And so that you can really get an understanding. I'm telling you, does it shake you at the core? Yeah, it does. It shook me and it continues to shake me because again, I'm someone, listen, I ain't just reading this and keeping it moving. Some of this stuff is taking me weeks and months to kind of settle and realize, dang, man, they've been lying to us. You know what I'm saying? And, like I always say, what you choose to believe is up to you. So I'm never mad or angry. I'm not going to be like some of these people here that's going to try to send you to hell for not believing any of this. I'm not going to try to belittle you or anything like that. Okay. We don't do that here. Okay. Well, what we do is say, here's the information. You look at it yourself, and you don't, if you're married and you got a spouse or you got a friend or whatever, y'all sit down, look at it together. You research, question it, and dig a little bit deeper and question it some more. That's what learning is really about at the end of the day, is doing these things, because family, we are in a matrix. This is a matrix system. And that's what our final segment is going to be about, talking about this whole red heifer thing, this whole matrix system here. But I wanted to share that with you as we're going into this whole quote unquote resurrection season, that this, according to history, there are many other stories that predated the story, what's recorded in the Bible. And many of the, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the resurrection story from like I said, the weeping of the women. Why is it that it was only women at the grave? Why was there mainly women, around the cross? That ties in, that goes all the way back to, one of the stories that what was it? Anana, that whole Anana story goes into that. Women played a very key role in that. How Nana, I think she went into the underworld to get her husband to come to Mutsu, to try to get him to come back, because he did something, was sent to the underworld, and then she had to go through 7 gates, and each gate she had to remove a garment, and then by the time she got to I think it was the 6th or 7th gate, she was basically unclothed. She didn't have anything on. Then she had to cut some deal with the goddess who was her sister there, and when she did that, then she was able to get her husband Demutsu out of this underworld, and then when he resurrected, that's where you get spring. So when we talk about Easter, for example, it's not a coincidence that Easter takes place during the same period as you have springtime. Things are coming to life. These things all tie into many of these ancient stories. This is also why, again, we've been showing you, when you do a comparative between the Hebrew calendar and also the Babylonian calendar, they're using pretty much the same names. When you look at the Babylonian names, many of them are tied to Babylonian deities. Okay. So it takes time, and it takes a lot of humbling. Yeah. It takes, you're going to be humbled. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a lot. And that's why when I see certain channels that I know have a long history of investigating and doing, research or whatever, like, all of us do to some measure, is some of the stuff I come across, I'm like, there's no in the world they don't see this stuff, but they feel compelled to keep on with their stuff because they put so much into their narrative. Some people just not going to turn and say, you know what, the hell with that stuff, man. Let me go with the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, it's just they've invested too much in that. We had close to 1,000 videos on this channel before we did those videos of saying goodbye. We had like over 1,000 videos, not including on BitChute. Not including on my BondTube and on the other channels, on other platforms. We had over 1,000 videos. As we started realizing, oh my goodness, this stuff ain't real. A good percentage of those videos I either deleted or I completely hid them. I got rid of them because I said, nah, I mean, it's not valid. You know what I'm saying? And we had to tell people that it's not valid. Now I didn't throw everything out because there's some things in there that's true, and we saved those things, but I had to get rid of it. Now I can flip a switch right now and make you're talking at least 700 videos that I can go right now, just like that. And they're already set to monetize. If it was about that for me, and I could be really making some stuff, you know what I mean? If it was about that, but it ain't about that for me. It's about truth. You understand what I'm saying? And so, no, if I'm gonna do all this, if I may have spent years saying one thing and then I realize, wait a minute, Uh-oh, no, that's not right. Guess what? Flip, that's done. We're done with it. We got to turn that page and we got to move on to the next chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. And for some people, quite honestly, that's a hard thing for them to do because they've invested too much in it. That's why I said you got to check people's motives, and their motives will come out as you're listening to people, regardless of what platforms or whatever you listen to. But anyway, let's move on to our final thing that we're going to talk about here. Well, not really final. Let me see. Should I touch on? I already talked about that. Let's see how I can tie this in together. This is gonna miss green eggs and lamb. I'm looking for. I got a story that is gonna help me segue into what you posted. Here we go. All right, so let me just say this. This is going to be set up for our final segment here. What people have to understand is this: as we're getting into this whole red heifer situation, and why this thing it's very important. What people have to understand is this: it does not matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what I believe. What matters right now is the people who are, the powers that shouldn't be, what they believe and what they operate on. Now, for some people, the religious folks will say, well, honey, I don't care. It's what he believes. And, and that's all that matters at the end of the day is he's sitting on the throne and it's up to him to, okay, I understand that. I get what you're saying. But in our day to day right now, there are things that are in motion and will continue to happen because there are people, evil people, that are controlling this matrix system that we're in. I'm not saying they're in control of everything, but the system that we're in right now. Oh, let me watch my hands there. Let me watch how I'm doing my hands. Let me lower my hands because somebody gonna take a screenshot of that and think I'm flashing some Illuminati. Let me watch my hands there. Because some folk, man, they pounce ready for me to throw something up. Anyway, it's about, so I lost my train of thought there. But anyway, it's what these people believe at the end of the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you got to believe and just embrace their ideology, but you do need to have an understanding of how these people think. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then later on talk about what we need to do. So, like, for example, there are certain things like in the book of Revelation, they've been pushing that, okay, this is going to happen. You're going to see things, this is going to happen and that going to happen. The powers that we say should not be, they're going to be pushing for those things to happen because it's going to usher in their end game, not yours, their end game. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're the ones that put this book together, and they're the ones that are going to push these narratives so that it will get, so that they can get to their conclusion. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why we have to be aware and alert of their system and what they believe, what they really, really believe in, So this system is very embracing of things that, from Jewish culture, what Jews believe is very centered on that, very much centered in that. So it behooves us to understand and to know, okay, what do y'all believe? What do y'all, how do y'all really see the world? You understand what I'm saying? And so, anyway, there's this guy here. His name is Dennis Meadows. He's, according to this, they say he's a prominent member of the Club of Rome. Club of Rome is like one of these elitist groups that basically sit back. They're like think tanks, and they sit back and talk about how they see the world and the things they're going to do to change the world and all this other stuff without anybody's consent because they see themselves as gods. And I want you to listen to what this guy very calmly, how he's describing how what the plan should be as far as this world is concerned. Okay. So he's just very relaxed. I mean, he just sitting down and telling you. Okay, so take a listen, and this is going to be a good segue into what I'm going to show you in a moment. Okay, so let's take a listen here. Let me turn this up here.
In one way or another, we are so far globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way, peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy, but it means that conflict isn't solved through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for. That we can, the planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. We could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. Unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. But if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence, so we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. These are pretty pessimistic hopes, but that's what lies ahead.
So, you hear this dude, like he's basically talking about, wiping out, everything. See, you got different layers in society. You got the ones that are just the consumers. And, those are the ones that, that will sit down and go see the Avengers and look at the Avengers. And, when you look at the Avengers, they talk about the snap that happened and that, half of the population went. So we're looking at it. You got people who look at those movies and think, oh, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It's a cool movie, but it's just a movie. But the people behind it are trying to tell you, yeah, this is what we're planning. And this is what's happening now. We're planning on getting rid of a significant part of the population. And it's literally happening right now as we speak. And you hear this guy right here, member of the Club of Rome, who's saying that, yeah, this is what, it's nothing for them. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, I don't agree. Obviously, I don't agree with the agenda. But it's important for us to understand this is how these people, this is the wavelength of how they are thinking and planning right now. So this is why I try to tell our people here, y'all sitting up here arguing about reparations. Again, I agree with the argument, but the bigger issue right now is we're dealing with a system that's literally trying to wipe you out. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they have already enacted their plans to do so. So should I be focused on getting a check, or should I be focused on taking care of my family and my loved ones? I think I will go with number 2 on that one. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think at this time right now, that's what I should be focused on. I should be prioritizing that right now, because if I'm sitting up here trying to tie myself even further in this system, then I'm pushing myself further and further in the line to get removed. It's, and our people just, we want to say disconnected from that. You know what I mean? And then you got the other ones that are so tied in religious, that's all they know. They have this Katrina theology where they just, hey, child, listen, I don't even be thinking about all that. That's just too much for me to try to comprehend. All I know is the Lord, he gonna be good to me and all this stuff. Okay, you hold on to that. Okay, you hold on to that, because ultimately our Creator, he's got us. I believe that. And I do mean that. But it's also, when you look at nature, nature always prepares for what's ahead. When you look at these different animals and insects and birds and fish and stuff like that, when things begin to happen, they already know, okay, this is where we go. How is it that when an earthquake or a typhoon or something is about to hit, birds instinctively know we got to, number one, get together. Number two, we need to fly to high ground. And this is where we're going to meet up, in high ground. Birds know that. Negroes don't. Because if that were to happen, where are we running to? FEMA. We run into FEMA. But for these animals and stuff like that, when things happen, they instinctively know, okay, we need to go up these trees. Okay, we need to bury something. We need to go into these caves. We need to go here. A lot of them already know what's up. So that's why we encourage people, listen, you want to learn about who you are and who you really are and why the Creator made you the way you are and who you really, look at creation. Creation tells you all the time. It's giving you hints and clues all the time, you know? So anyway, so to listen to this guy and his agenda and all that is something to be aware of. So speaking of agenda, phone, let me put this up on my screen here. This is what our sister sent. Well, she posted it on in the comments section here. Let me see if I have it up on my phone here. Shoot, no. All right, let me pull it right here. This is the last thing, and then we're done, y'all. It is right here. Almost there. Let's see. That would be YouTube. Come on, man. Trying to move fast as I can, y'all. Let's see. We have a channel. No. And go to studio. Let's see. Moving. Okay, comments. Okay, here it is. Okay. So if you listen to our, I don't know if for some of you who didn't hear our podcast, we really talked about this whole thing about the this whole issue about this particular Easter weekend, or what they call Passover weekend, why it's extremely important for us to be aware of what's going on and why it's important to you, for you. What I did was I actually played the audio of this very well done video. It's about 16 minutes long. The video is actually right here over on my BondTube. I don't know why. I guess I forgot earlier, but I did eventually upload it. It's right here. And this is it right here. It's called Why the Red Heifer Event Matters. Is this right here. Okay, you see me circling? It's right here. This one with the guy moving his hand there. And anyway, so it's there. So you definitely wanna make sure you check that one out, because he does a wonderful job in explaining that. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, here it is. Like I said, hats off to our sister that brought this to our attention. Okay, so this is the website templeinstitute.org. These people are the ones that are mainly responsible for the rebuilding of the temple. Okay, which is, they are definitely on board getting that done. Okay, and so, like I said again, watch the video because I'm trying to save on time here. But basically, there is another. What these people are planning on doing, these Jewish people are planning on doing, is bringing back animal sacrifices. Now, I just want to ask you something for those of you who want to embrace this culture, and claim that you are really these people. I just want to ask you something for a second. Just think. I want you to use your brain for a second. I want you to use your brain. If you can knock on your brain a little bit and say, hey, come on, open up. Time to listen. Why on earth, whoever it is that you serve, why would they demand that an animal is sacrificed? An animal is sacrificed. Have you ever thought of that when you think about animal sacrifices? Especially today, when you think if someone were to say animal sacrifices, you'd be like, what, you in some kind of cult? There's something about that that's kind of off. Christianity has normalized that when we read the scriptures and we listen to these different stories about, Abraham, and he was sacrificing an animal, and then you get into Israel and they were sacrificing different animals and birds and stuff like that. Why? You ever thought of that? Does that honestly seem normal to you? I want you to think about that, okay? Don't answer with your religious mind. Today, I want you to take your religious mind and tell it to go sit down somewhere. But taking birds and sheep and goats and stuff like that, slitting their throats and watching the blood come out, and then you sprinkling blood on people. Does that seem okay? Now, where's the inconsistency in that is these people, well, they don't believe in Jesus anyway. I'm talking about the Jewish people, but you do have people, I'm talking about black folks now, who do believe in Jesus, but they also believe that there are these people, which means that you're embracing this culture, animal sacrifice culture. You embracing this, does that seem you okay? Are you comfortable with animal sacrifices being part of your thing? I thought Jesus was the final sacrifice. That's what I thought. You know what I mean? I want you to really think about this. Think for a second, okay? I want you to think about it. But people who are embracing this, if you are one of these that are running around saying shalom and mishpachah, and you speaking a lot of the stuff that they're doing, you pretty much copying, ripping their own history and claiming part of their history as their own. You can't claim part of it and say the rest is trash. No, this is your people. Regardless of their Ashkenazis or whatever it is you want to call it, it doesn't matter. Their culture is what you're saying they stole from you. So why would the creator of all these beautiful animals and plants and all that require, in order for you to be forgiven, you have to go kill an animal? That's something you don't necessarily need to answer that right now, but that's something over this weekend. I do want you to think about that. Okay. I really want you to give some time and really give that some serious thought. Do not come into the chat. I mean, not in the chat, in the comment section, and start trying to do an argument with me, because I don't have time for it. Okay. Now, if you have some questions, I'm here for you. Okay. But I'm not here for the games. Okay. And then you can email me as well. If you got other questions, I'm here for that too. But if you here just to want to debate and argue, I don't have time for that. I really don't. Okay. But these are things that I want for those that are really, you really haven't given yourself time to even think about these types of questions. I want you to really give yourself time this weekend to really think about that. Okay. All right. Something to think about. Someone said exactly why I watch animals. Right. I mean, we just have most of us have a general love and appreciation for animals. And it's just something about them. I think it's just the innocence part of me. I mean, all of them are just precious to me. I mean, it's just something. Anyway, according to Jewish tradition, and I'm going to read into this, what these Jews believe, what they teach, is that there have been a total of 9 red heifers. Okay, let me read it. And if I need to stop and explain anything else, I will be more than happy to do that. All right. But I'm showing you this is why this is so significant. Okay. From Moshe to the second temple, only 9 red heifers. The Mishnah teaches that up until the destruction of the second temple, ashes have been prepared from a total of only 9 red heifers. The very first red heifer was processed by Moshe himself. And of course, that's Moses. As the verse states, have them bring you a red heifer. The second was done by the prophet Ezra in the days of the first temple, and during the entire era of the second temple, only 7 more heifers were used for ashes. This was enough to provide for the nation's needs for purification through all those years. The names of all the high priests who prepared those 7 heifers during the second temple times are recorded by the Mishnah. Shimon the Just and Yehochanan, I guess that's how you say it, each made 2. They got all this Hebrew stuff. Anyway, process 1 heifer each. Thus, from the time that Moshe received the commandment of the red heifer from the Holy One, blessed be he, until the destruction of the second temple, purifying ashes have been produced by the hands of these great leaders from a total of 9 red heifers. Okay. And it says, the 10th red heifer will be prepared by the Messiah. So there's already been 9. This sacrifice that they're saying that's supposed to happen between starting today and going into April, like next week, April, will be the 10th. Okay. Now listen to this. The 10th red heifer will be prepared by the Messiah. So the person that they already have set up to do this sacrifice, according to their accounts, is the Messiah, according to them. This is why this is very significant. In recounting this historical record in his commentary of the Mishnah, the great Maimonides ends with a enigmatic statement. And the 10th red heifer will be accomplished by the King, the Messiah. May he be revealed speedily. Amen. May it be God's will. With this amazing statement, Maimonides recounts an ancient tradition that the 10th red heifer is associated with the Messianic era. Does this perhaps mean that the appearance of a red heifer in these waning end times is an indication, a forerunner of the appearance of the Messiah himself, who will officiate at this preparation? If there has been no red heifer for the past 2,000 years, perhaps it is because the time was not right. Israel was far from being ready. But now, what could it mean for the times we live in to have the means for purification so close at hand? With the words of Maimonides in mind, we cannot help but wonder and pray, if there are now red heifers, is ours the era that we will need, that will need them? On this note, it is fitting that we pay particular attention to a midrash teaching, midrashic teaching. All right. And then they go through some things here. I'll put this link actually in the chat. And again, thank you, sis, for sharing this. I'll put this in the chat. You can read this. Okay. Here we go. And you can read that. Okay. You can read that on your own time. But this is what they believe. Now, if you listen to the podcast that we did earlier, and like I said, then you can also go to that video that I shared. I told you, go on BondTube. It's there. The reason why this is so significant is because it all swings on this, they call it the Dome of the Rock. If you've seen that, the picture of Jerusalem. Oh, it's in Old Town Jerusalem. You got that real dome. It has like it's like a gold dome or whatever. That's actually like half of it is owned by the Jews and the other half is owned by the Muslims, supposedly, right? Now that is also the site where it's like the holiest site. That's supposed to be like the holiest site, but that is the site where the actual temple is supposed to be built. Well, it can't be built there because that thing is still there, right? However, the video goes in and talks about how they have already, for the longest time, have been already preparing to tear that thing down. now, and to make it appear to be some type of accident or someone shot it down or something like that. And the video goes in, like I said, goes into details on exactly what these people are doing. Now, imagine for a second, if that thing was to come down, what chain reaction that would set off. Okay. So on one hand, you already, starting this weekend, they're already preparing to start the sacrifices in preparation for this thing to come down. Okay. And then on the other hand, there's all of a sudden now you hearing about in Moscow, they got Muslims that are, back up. The video talks about how October 7th, what Hamas was out here saying is the reason why we quote unquote started this whole, attacking Israel in the first place is because of these red heifers. And, they're putting the dog and pony show, acting like they're so pissed off or whatever. But in reality, they're trying to hurry on this conflict, because once that sacrifice takes place, literally the world's timing, this system that we're in, this matrix system, is a very significant event where now we're going to start seeing a lot of other things begin to unfold. Okay. And that's whatever it is that they have in their book. Okay. Whatever it is that they have. It could be anything, you know what I mean? Power outages or what have you. The religious people are going to only focus on, the power went out. That's a judgment. Because you're not thinking beyond your scriptures. You understand what I'm saying? So this is a very, very significant time that we're in right now. Okay. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. That's going to happen. All I'm simply saying here to you is this red heifer thing is entering in a brand new chapter in this quote unquote uncivilization. And that we are going to begin to see some different things unfold and all of that. So this feeling that at least some of y'all have been feeling like, it just feels kind of weird. I don't know. It just feels some kind of weird, don't take that lightly. Yeah, there's a good reason for that, because this uncivilization that we're in right now, even the spiritual climate, it's changing. In other words, we're coming into a whole nother situation. All right. And these people want to bring down this existing system so that they can construct a new system. Okay. That's what they want. This is what Judaism teaches, a destruction of this system so that a new system can be built. Christianity teaches the destruction of this system in favor of a brand new system. They are all on the same page. They're literally on the same page. See, Christians think that it's going to be something else. Nah, you're using the same talking points as the Zionists, because you're a Zionist at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? So when you hear a lot of these brothers, Hebrew brothers or sisters out here talking about they can't wait till judgment comes and strikes down this system and this system's going to come down, you're right along line in the same alignment with these Zionists. You're in the same alignment with them. You are. Now you may sit up there and say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I ain't just saying. No, you both have an agreed ending. You are in agreement to see this system come down. Now, your reasons may be different than theirs. They don't care. Hey, get on out there. Tell these people that this system going to come down. That's what we want. That's right. Tell them it's going to come down, because at the end of the day, we're going to bring up a brand new system. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how this is really playing out. But let me just say this is the last thing, and then we're done here. Okay. Now, how does that apply to you? How does that apply to me? How does it apply to us? What do we do? Is there any hope? Is there any hope at all? There's always hope. What I always tell people is that, listen, for whatever reason, we were chosen to be in this world at this particular time. I don't know why. You don't know why, but we're here. Right. When I'm going to tell you, for me, I'm not that deep of a person, not like that. I look at these animals. I look at everything that's outside. They stay focused on their purpose. The purpose of these apple trees is to produce apples. The purpose of these birds is to sing, fly, reproduce. They do that beautifully every day. The purpose of all of these things that we see in nature every day, they do it all the time, every day, and they're 100% committed to it. Now, the question is, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? In light of all of this stuff here, your North Star is you finding why you are here. What is your purpose? And as you are discovering that, stick to it, because that is going to be the key. You understand what I'm saying through all of this? Now, you can be a person that's full of purpose. You may be still on their digital plantation, but you are still 100% on your purpose, doing what you have been created to do. And you do that to the best of your ability until it's time for you to leave this place. Do you understand what I'm saying? I believe the earth in of itself is one big training ground for something beyond once we leave here. That's what I believe. As far as explaining, well, why is it that these certain people are in charge and not us? And I can't explain that. And I'm not going to even try to. But only thing I'm going to focus on right now is, what am I here for? What is my purpose? That's the only thing I can, that's about as much capacity as I have in this brain of mine. I can't figure out all this other stuff out. And that's what I encourage you to do. But don't fall for these tricks that are out here in this matrix system. This matrix system is already telling you the direction that they're trying to go. They're trying to shut things down. They're trying to shut people out and all that other stuff. You stay on your purpose and you follow it to the end. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you do. And wherever that goes, you follow it. That's it. But you stand on truth and you get rid of the lies. Get rid of all these lies that some of us have been embracing for years, and it's become comfortable. Like Linus's blanket. We just love that religion that we've been holding on to for so long because that's all we know. It's time for you to let this stuff go and to really embrace truth for what it is. It's painful. It hurts letting some things go. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing like truth. Nothing like it. And you want to commit yourself to that. That be your life mission to no matter what, I'm with truth. I'm pursuing truth. And that's it. Not everybody's going to be with you on that journey. So be it. But you stay on that. Okay. So we had a long one. We had a long broadcast today. I didn't know it was going to be this long, but we had a long one. But I hope you guys got something out of this broadcast today. And we covered quite a bit here. So if you fell asleep, I understand. Okay, I get it. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, wonderful rest of your weekend, and be on the lookout. Someone asked about the eclipse. What does that have to do? Let me just mention that, the eclipse. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend God told me with this eclipse, what's going to happen is what the eclipse really means. I ain't telling you that. I ain't up there. I don't know what that means. I know it means something. I definitely know that. So I'm definitely not playing down the eclipse or any other eclipse. I'm not playing that down. No way. No way. I do know it means something. Okay. For what exactly it means, I don't know. I don't. What I also know is that people with ill intent, regardless of what side they claim to be on, will use the eclipse as a way of bolstering their narratives. So if my narrative is this is a sign of judgment from God, I will use that and say, see, when you look at that, it's a sign from judgment from God. You understand what I'm saying? If I want to use that to say, see, this is a sign that I'm supposed to do this, or we're going to do this or that or whatever, it's going to be, it's a way that people with ill intent will use that to bolster their own ideologies. People have been doing this for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I've used this the other day. Like, for example, if an earthquake happens or if there's a volcano that goes on, people are very quick to say, see, this is in alignment with scripture. It says it's going to happen. But you tell them what scripture and they say, I don't know. It's just in alignment. There's enough, I would just say there's enough chatter going on. You got certain states that are saying, listen now, we're just letting you know, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, if the power goes out, wink, wink, wink. And the power, you know, if the traffic lights go out, wink, wink, wink. You know, if there's this, that, wink. I mean, they're giving you all this stuff that something could happen. But if anything like that happens, you just know 100% it's these people. That ain't him doing that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Our creator ain't behind that stuff. That's them. 100%. All right. So don't let these liars out there. And I will say it over and over again. Do not allow these Bible waving liars that are out here that will try to twist their own book to try to make it seem like because the power or the internet went out, it's because it's God trying to speak to you. No, it's these wicked people that are using that event to bolster their ideology. That's exactly what that is. Now, what you should be doing, because you've already heard enough of them saying something may go down, you need to be prepared for that. How are you going to prepare? What preparations have you done in the event, let's say, if the power does go out for a long period of time, or if the internet goes out for a long period of time, you know, or, you know, if you can't drive your car because you can't get, you know, you got limited gas, access to gas. Do you got some backup gasoline in your house? You know, there's some basic things that you should and your family should have already been thinking about, regardless of an eclipse or not. You understand what I'm saying? See, religious folks want you to focus just on that. I'm telling you, starting now, it's almost mandatory for you. We've been talking about this stuff for years, but now when they talking about sacrifice, now we're in the season of them now making regular sacrificing animals. Do you understand how crazy that is? In 2024, now it's normalized for people on the world stage to sacrifice animals. I thought Peter would be all over that stuff, but apparently that's the new normal now. The new normal is on a world stage in this next chapter that we have just entered into. Animal sacrifice is okay. It's a public event right now. This is the new normal now that we're entering into. So yes, we're entering in a new crazy. Okay. So this is what I want people to really understand this time that we're in right now. It's not to live in fear. I'm not in any fear at all. No, I'm not, because I'm at a point right now and say whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm just in training. This is my training ground that I'm in right now. It is. But eternity is eternity. And once we pass over into the next assignment, that's going to be quite fascinating. And I believe how you live your life, how you conduct your life right now is definitely something that is going to be taken into account once we pass over. So you better make sure, you know, you treat people right, you do other people right, and, you know, you take care of yourself and all of that. And then the rest, I think, will be more than fine. But yeah, as far as thank you, sis, for bringing up about that eclipse. I almost forgot about mentioning that. But don't allow, and I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm glad you brought it up, but I'm talking to everybody. You know, don't fall for these liars out here, because there's a lot of people that just say all kinds of stuff. They get on this right here. This is a great responsibility. I'm on YouTube. I'm on this space. I'm a nobody in that regard. But I still have to take into account things that I say in this microphone and on this screen. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't get up here and say God told me this and that or whatever, and then things don't come to pass. I'm like, well, I hope you see. Make sure you hit the like button. No, it doesn't work that way, because I understand there are people out here that are listening, and they do take some of the stuff I say pretty seriously. And I have to be very careful in what I say. And a lot of these people aren't careful. They just say stuff just to be saying it, you know? So, but you got a lot of people out there that are very careful too. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm the only one. There's many other people out there that are very careful, but I'm just saying for here, you know, I got to be extremely careful, you know, because we can't have another person dropping $17,000 for a book. Look, if you're gonna drop another, if someone gonna drop 17 grand for a Russian book, let me know before you do that, okay? Please let me know because I'll think of I'll get AI to write a book for you, okay? All right, I think we're done here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And we might go live again on Sunday, or at least have some videos go up there. I'm not sure. But anyway, check your email if you're signed up on our email list for somatree.com. We got some great thing. We got this very, very great thing that we're about to drop, man. This thing, oh my goodness. Yeah, you want to keep an eye on. The website again is somatree.com. All right. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.